Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to just imagine the logistical nightmare of, say, a 4-camera remote shoot,
Right.
a stadium event, maybe a conference keynote, anything with some distance.
Mhm.
You're just looking at a snake pit of cables.
Oh, absolutely. Power, video, control lines, all converging on one spot.
And 4 individual receivers. It's a mess. So today, we're diving into a single piece of hardware that's designed to get rid of all that chaos. The Datavideo HBT-50.
Yeah, and our mission here is really to look past the spec sheet. We need to understand how this one box becomes this critical hub.
The consolidation hub.
Exactly. For you listening, the takeaway isn't just about convenience. It's about making your workflow more resilient and honestly just simplifying those long cable runs, especially in places that still rely on the traditional SDI broadcast standard.
And the core promise, the thing that really jumped out at me from the specs, is just the efficiency. This single unit supplies power, video, and camera control to 4 different devices. And it does that over distances of up to 100 meters. That's, streamlining 4 entire production paths into one box.
And what's so fascinating is the tech that makes it possible, which is HDBaseT. This is the standard that lets you send power, video, and all your control signals down a single standard Ethernet cable.
It's one cable.
One CPAP.6 cable for that full 100-meter range. And for power, it supports power over Ethernet, PoE, delivering 65 watts per channel. That's more than enough to fire up and control professional PTZ cameras remotely.
Okay, so focusing on that for a second. 65 watts is a good amount of power, but 100 meters, that feels like a theoretical limit. If you're in a crowded stadium with a lot of electrical noise, can you really trust that 1080p 60 signal won't drop?
That's a critical question, and HDBaseT is it's very robust. The protocols are built to maintain that signal fidelity. So you're getting full 1080p 60 across that 100 meters without degradation.
Yep.
But the biggest win, the one you can really quantify, is labor. It's simplicity. You just calculate the time you save running 4 Cat.6 cables versus, 4 power cords, 4 control wires, 4 video lines.
You could easily cut your setup time in half.
Easily. And you drastically reduce troubleshooting on site. This one unit replaces 4 separate HD-based receivers and all the power injectors.
So here's where the workflow integration gets really interesting, especially for anyone managing like a traditional broadcast truck. The simultaneous quad outputs.
Yes.
The HBT-50 doesn't just receive the signals, it outputs all 4 channels through both HDMI and SDI at the same time. Why is that specific redundancy, having dual outputs for every channel, so important?
Well, if you connect that to the bigger picture, that dual output is what locks this device perfectly into a broadcast SDI environment. Imagine you're running a show.
Okay.
Output 1 from a camera goes straight to your main video switcher for the live program. At the same time, output 2 from that same camera can go to a dedicated ISO recorder, capturing a clean, isolated feed.
So you get parallel redundancy and flexibility built right into the box.
Seamlessly, it just works.
And it doesn't forget about the operator in the control room. We mentioned control. The HBT-50 transmits RS-422 and DVI-P signals. For anyone listening, what does that actually mean?
Those are basically the digital languages that let you remotely control camera settings. Things like iris, exposure, or calling up specific camera presets. It gives you full centralized command right alongside the video path.
Got it.
And, for the professionals making the actual procurement decisions, there are a couple of key specs to note. The unit is TAA compliant.
Which means it meets federal acquisition rules.
Right, which signals not just eligibility for government contracts, but also a certain level of build quality and reliability that high-end pro video users demand. The price point, by the way, is $3,199.
And when you think that this replaces 4 separate receivers, 4 power injectors, and gets rid of 4 potential points of failure, that price tag starts to look like a pretty significant long-term investment.
A huge ROI, yeah.
As for its physical size, it's designed for a standard rack mount. It's about 4.2 kilograms, so it's a solid permanent fixture.
So to sum it all up, the HBT-50 is really just a sophisticated bridge. It takes the modern efficiency of HDBaseT, that single cable transport, and integrates it directly into a traditional SDI infrastructure. It's an elegant solution.
So I want you to think about the sheer complexity you're avoiding with this. 400-meter camera runs without this single integration point. Think about the hundreds of meters of extra cable, the stack of power supplies, and just the hours of complexity you dodge with a single box solution. And that raises a question for you to think about. What other parts of your video or audio workflow, the parts plagued by all those cables and separate boxes, could be consolidated in a similar way?